what the fuck did I get married to?
Yeah,
Why am I? What did I just commit to? Right? Because it's easy. All right, this shit's recording. It's easy. Look back at our past situations and kind of fantasize about a lot of that shit, right?
Yeah, thank God for memory. I know. It's like,
you know what I mean? So like, and then on top, you're supposed to like behave, and you're supposed to be good and be faithful, and
you're supposed to be the complete opposite of the person they married. Right, really. You're supposed to change your whole approach to life. It's like being put into a cage.
prior to that, then it's like, what the fuck did I get married to? What did I just commit to, right? Because it's easy. All right, this shit's recording. It's easy. Alexa, turn off. It's easy to look back at our past situations and kind of fantasize about a lot of that shit, right?
Yeah, thank God for memory. I know. It's like,
you know what I mean? So like, and then on top, you're supposed to like behave, and you're supposed to be good and be faithful, and
you're supposed to be the complete opposite of the person they married. Right, really. You're supposed to change your whole approach to life. It's like being put into a cage.
All right. So the audio is recording, but I have my theory with, as I was talking to my girlfriend, right? Yeah. It's almost kind of like women want to domesticate men. Yeah. They find that wild wolf in the nature, right? Yeah. They love that. It's like, man, he's a fucking savage. Yeah. Yeah. But little by little, they want to tame that energy and be like, I got that fucker controlled. Yeah. When I say sit, he sits. Yeah. When I say up, boom, he gives me the paw. He fucking tongue out everything. Yeah. That's right. So, but what I notice is that eventually there's like a subconscious part that's going to click out of tune, and it's going to say, I don't like this domesticated animal.
Yeah, they've taken apart all the things they were attracted to them for, right? All those things that stood out, that made them stand out, that made them attractive, and they're no longer there. They're now the domesticated wolf, right? Mm. And then there's plenty of other angry wolves out there. So I think that's a problem. And what I think another part of that journey
now is but think of this, right? Now is that where people start contemplating outside situations.
100%.
Right? It's like the guy at work, he acts a certain way how so-and-so used to act. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So now...
And that's that fire in him, and that same confidence.
There's... So my confidence. All right, so what I was talking about, the sexual mojo. Yeah. Right?
Well, the male mojo, right?
Yeah, you have that sexual energy that somehow, I think, the more you get laid, you exude sexual energy.
Yeah, it must, 100%.
Right? It's the way you carry yourself, the way you talk to people, the way you have like a different swagger. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Compared to if you're waiting for your free token, every couple weeks, it's like shit. It's you're gonna be looking down. You're gonna be a little bit deflated.
You know what else I think is on that as well? Is when you're kind of riding high, you're getting laid, and you have that confidence. You also don't have the same need, right? So it means that when you are approaching other people around you, you don't really give a fuck about them, because you're also, your needs as a person and a man are being kind of serviced and dealt with. And because of that then makes you more attractive, because you're not actually chasing these people. You're
right.
You just don't really care.
You don't come off needy.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, all right, what's up with this guy? How come he's why is he so confident?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 100%. That's definitely, I think, what a lot of us were like in our 20s, because life was good. We'd go out on a Friday or a Saturday night. I didn't really care about the people around us, or had no real vested interest in, chasing women or anything like that, because we're just having a great time with our guys and having a few drinks, and a laugh and whatever. But because you don't care, I think it's quite human instinct that people are like, well, why don't they care? I remember that distinctly one night. I was in a bar. It's a rough little bar, and it's one of those bars where cheap drinks, there's a dance floor, and then it's all the guys that are trying to dance with all these girls or crack onto them. My friend and I were just sat at the bar, drinking all night and catching up, and then these two girls who were being hit on all night just came over and they're like, "Hi, what are your guys' names?" Like, you're about the only guys that haven't come over to us. And
without even trying to.
Yeah, just because we were kind of observing and watching all these guys go over there and kind of crash and burn, and it's funny, like doing whatever they're doing, a whole variety of different people. But I think it's like you were just saying, that like that desperation. There's like a thin line, I think, I suppose, between somebody's desperation and their confidence. Right? So yeah, I think what you were kind of going to say about that whole male mojo piece is it's probably important. It's probably something to like untangle it in that.
All right, so going further into this, my thoughts are, how important is it for a man to continue to maintain that all throughout the relationship, right?
Yep.
He has to still maintain some sexual attraction to other women, right?
Yeah.
Because there's that indirect, like, oh shit, like other women still look at him, right? So it brings out kind of like that inner competitiveness.
Yep.
He's attractive still.
Yeah.
He hasn't given up in life.
Yep. Not yet.
Not yet.
A few more months to go.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't.
Yeah.
But there is that, you kind of kick off that inner competitive in them. Where it's...
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Now, how important, where does cheating...
Yeah.
or flirting come into play?
Yeah, no,
right. Obviously, this all comes down to morality, and
exactly. Yeah,
if you tend to be a cheater or you happen to be I think it's healthy. My personal opinion is that I do think I prefer to go with the flirting way.
Yeah, like innocent.
It can
flirting,
be innocent, right?
Exactly,
but there's still kind of that playfulness where like, okay, this could go somewhere.
Yeah,
else.
that's right. Yeah,
right. But it's playful,
Yeah,
but with respect.
Yeah, exactly. I actually think that's very human and very normal, even if you're in a very secure relationship. I think most people that cheat, it's mainly about themselves, right? I think it's mainly about. I don't think it's necessarily about their partner. I know people that have cheated on their partners when they've been in a otherwise fulfilling relationship, right? But it's just I don't know if they're carrying their own insecurities. Weirdly, they always seem to cheat on people that are worse looking, right? I don't know. Like, I think that's more of like
go into that. What'd you say?
I think like the worst looking piece, or the bit before about
the worst looking. What do you mean by that?
I've always found friends of mine, especially from 10, 15 years ago, if they're in a long-term relationship, or maybe not even long-term, in a relationship, and they've cheated on their partner, I've always observed it tends to be with people that are nowhere near as attractive as their actual partner. So I don't know if that's down to some sort of need, or just like a in-the-moment ego fix, or what it is, or maybe it's just a coincidence. I don't know, but it seems to be.
I got a weird theory on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that in this case, right?
Yeah.
Usually, if you were to put it on a numerical scale, right?
Yeah.
Let's say as a guy you happen to be a 7.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's say you fuck with a 5.
Yep.
That 5 is gonna fucking try real hard and do some good ass shit to you. May not be the prettiest thing to look at, but you get with the 10, she's not gonna be as much of a freak as that 5.
Very true.
That 5 is gonna be doing some crazy shit to you that you're like, damn, alright, that was fucking fun.
Yeah.
What? Like, I don't want to see you.
Yeah.
But that was good. So.
Yeah, there could definitely be some truth to that.
And I think usually it sounds fucked up, but they know their place.
Yeah.
They know exactly what the fuck is happening, right?
I think you know that in
you
women
deal
you
with
interact
who,
with.
Yeah, but if you deal with all right, you deal with a 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
She's going to want the throne.
Yeah.
If you happen to be married, she's going to want to have that place.
Uh-huh.
So that's where it gets tricky. Like, she may be the one calling your wife and being like, hey, I just fucked your husband.
Right.
Or maybe that 5 is like, damn, like, I prefer to just have him on the weekend and I'm good enough with this.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. Yeah.
Thoughts on these are just...
Yeah, I think...
I may be wrong, but...
No, I think that's probably fair. But I do think, kind of going back to like that scenario where there has to be that kind of little bit of like competitive edge. I think that's really important. Like to know that I think that's important on both sides of the relationship, that your partner is also desired, right? I don't think that's unhealthy, like at all. My wife gets funny about odd things like that, and it's always funny. Like there's a scenario only a couple of days ago, weirdly, when we were picking up the kids, and we're getting out of the car, and one of the other moms, she said to me, she said basically like, oh, she said that hair is always on point, and she kind of like smiled and carried on walking, and my wife was just like, the fuck is she talking about, your hair's I was like, that comes up a little bit with my hair because it's grey. People on my age don't always have a full head of hair.
Yeah, you got
but
good
my
hair,
barber
man.
cuts it really, really well. He's a really, really good barber. And then, but I like it. The other woman is...
It's a compliment you're not going to get from guys.
Yeah, of course not, right? Of course not. But I like that she gets riled up about it. It's funny.
It's like, what the fuck does she mean by
that? That's exactly what she said. What the fuck is she talking about your hair for? I was like, it's nice, you know. But then again, this morning, we were in the coffee shop after we dropped the kids off, and the girl serving in there, she gave my coffee, and it was a black Americano, is what I always have, and she said something like, "Oh, is it always like that?" And
the Americano?
That's what I thought she meant. I was like, yeah, I always drink the same thing. She went, no. Is your hair always like that? And I was like, I have no idea. I was like, yeah. And then Maggie, the girl that works in the coffee shop, was like, yeah. She said, my boyfriend's hair's like that. It's like thick and just stays there. And we were having a conversation. It was funny. It was not hysterical. Like a compliment per se, but just to Marisol, it was like adding to this, like,
so two
in like in space of like 24 hours, yeah. One in the afternoon and one this morning, and it was just really funny that she was just there for both of them, because 2 innocent remarks, but I like how she reacts. It's good. I like that she cares. I like that she thinks that's, to her, massively inappropriate. Even though it's just a comment about hair, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing else with it at all, passing comment. So, I think it's...
You know what it is, though? They know it's indirect.
Yeah.
Indirect flirting.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of... It can be innocent, but she knows there's an underlying flirting, and it's like, this bitch did it in front of me. Right? So, like...
Yeah. Yeah.
She knows the game. She knows what's up.
Yeah. That's what was...
It's funny, man. Like, this week I was here with a client, and my girlfriend's next door, and the client was just giggling and laughing.
Yeah.
And then when we were done, she's like, the fuck was she giggling so much about? Nothing you were saying was that fucking funny. And I'm like, oh, fucking nothing. She's like, she couldn't stop fucking giggling. Like, what the fuck? I thought it was priceless. I'm like, think it's the same, right?
I love that. I love the extra bit of that. What you were saying wasn't even that funny.
Yeah.
That's just fucking brilliant. I love that. That's hilarious. But I think that can be really healthy in a relationship for the most part. Like in that context, right? The way your girlfriend took it, and the way my wife took it was very. No problem, but it's something they will think about, and that to me is funny. But it shows that they're hearing this, right? I don't even think that hurts at all. I don't know how I'd feel if I was on the other end of it. I suppose. If
this is the thing, right? So I go about these thoughts quite a lot, and I think to myself, like, all right, I hear a guy flirting with her, right?
Yeah.
There is the side of me that's like, well, would you say something?
Right.
If she's not reciprocating, right?
Yeah.
I can't fucking stop people from looking.
Right, of course.
So
yeah,
people are going to look. People are may say something.
Yeah.
Now it just comes down to how she carries herself.
Yeah.
In the response and how she goes about it.
Yeah, that's very
If
true.
she goes, oh, I don't know what would be a proper way, because I'm guessing this would be individual. But if it's like, oh, thank you for the compliment, but
yeah,
I'm married.
Yeah.
It's like, cool. No one was really hurt by that, and
yeah,
is it worth me fucking starting a fucking fight? Or
of course not.
Why are you looking at her? Like that would be idiotic, right?
That would reflect really badly on you. Yeah. No, definitely. I think the only time that I would say anything would be one, if it was a situation that was like a little bit persistent and made her really uncomfortable, right? Then you've got someone that's just not reading the room or the situation or doesn't care.
Doesn't get
then you need to step in, right? Or if it was like, if she was outrageously flirting back, I would want to have a conversation with her about that, maybe.
All right, so I will say, man, maybe I don't know of my process of going about this. Sometimes I'm a silent observer.
Yeah.
I just let things be and see how they kind of play out.
Yep.
Still keep an eye on the prize, right? Like what's going on, and just to see who am I actually talking to. Right? Because at the end of the day, someone can be super nice in front of you. But if someone's flirting in front of you, could it be taken out of context? Could it be like, hey, am I seeing something that is not?
Yep.
Could be. What if it's a family friend or someone who has been at your house already?
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean? So like, I have my own set of rules that I try to abide. You know, like I don't talk to I try to avoid my friends' girlfriends and all that. Like,
I think that's a really safe strategy.
Yeah, we're not gonna be friends. We're not gonna like chit chat or.
I don't even know most of their last names. I don't even know all their first names actually. I'm kind of the same. I think keep that distance. I'm not a social media person anyway, so I'm not connected to anybody really. But if I were, you keep that degree of separation. It's just your friendships are.
Your relationships are yours. Her relationships are hers.
For sure.
What do you think now on male friends in the picture?
So, if I look back at all the female friends I've had, could I honestly assess any of them as being completely platonic? Maybe one out of like a lot more than one.
So you wouldn't trust it?
No, I wouldn't trust their intentions. I wouldn't trust the male intentions, or probably the female intentions. I wouldn't at all.
Yeah, because I think it applies both ways, right?
Yeah.
But then again, I do think that women tend to exert that the dynamic of like putting you in the friend zone. Like if you're in the friend zone, I don't think you're really getting out anytime soon. Yeah. Like unless there's a breakup, and that's where like these platonic friends come into moves.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, that's how I would see them. I think.
Bring you some hot chocolate.
I'd see them. Yeah.
I'd see that friend zoned friend that's just waiting in the wings for an opportunity
for
right?
those openings.
And that's exactly how I would see it too. Yeah.
I'm sure, right? If we were to ask women like how many of their platonic friends they probably had a situationship with, in their downtime, I'm sure there would be quite a few that would say like, I had a fling. I don't know, even a weekend thing with someone, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I heard something this week, which was referring to, and you're not on social media, so this one's a hard one, but it was referring to how modern days, right? So your Instagram is another form of dating platform.
I heard this about LinkedIn.
Right.
And
LinkedIn too?
Yeah, same deal. Yeah.
How so?
So that basically, LinkedIn, I think the dating platforms are probably much more complex, because I saw a friend of mine the other day, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know how you fucking manage this. It was bizarre, but we'll talk about that. But LinkedIn is essentially, right, picture, face, name, professional experience, but to a lot of people, I don't think it's too different. And you can chat?
You can chat with whoever?
You can connect. As soon as you connect, you can just chat freely. Right, it's just like Facebook or something like that, right? It's actually very, very similar to that, right? Picture, a little bit about you, a news feed. People can write their whatever the fuck they're feeling about today on there.
Kind of like a Twitter.
Yeah, right. It's very, very similar.
So but I think you could get my live views.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you can. I think you can do all sorts of things on there, and you can direct message people. So, I heard that the other part about that is that people that are looking for a partner of a certain stature, maybe they're looking for a vice president or a whatever, right? Can use LinkedIn to be like, cool, now I know Andre. Andre is a tattoo artist of X amount. Yep, he's grown his business to this now. Okay.
To go for the professionals.
Okay, yeah. So it's a way to say, I know this person is earning X amount, right? Or is this...
You see their credentials.
Yeah, you see everything about them. Yeah, it's like seeing their CV, right? Along with their picture and face. So then I heard people have been using that to communicate with people. Like people back in the day used to always meet in the workplace, right? The workplace or the bar or the pub. So it's like the same
happy
thing.
Hour, right?
Yeah. It's like the same deal. So I heard it's being used a lot for that. That must be a big... I've also seen, though, I haven't seen that recently, but a while ago I remember seeing people, like women posting, like screenshots of a conversation. So they'll connect with somebody who they think they're connecting with professionally, and then the person, in this case the guy, has been aggressively pursuing them, messaging them, and then they just screenshot and be like, hey, this is supposed to be a fucking professional network, and call them out,
Oh, no shit.
Savage. But equally,
that's the hard part, is that social shaming.
Yeah, and then it's called out on the professional network too.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, not at all. But then as well, you get into the things of there will be some things that will be really obviously inappropriate to most people, right? Like a proposition or whatever the situation might be. But there's other people that can easily take you being friendly as a prospective business or opportunity or whatever. So you never know. People are offended by many, many different things, right? So
you said friendly.
Yeah. Or what if what is appropriate to one person is not to the other, and then they get kind of called out, or only some of it's shown, or something like that, right? Then this person gets professionally blacklisted.
So this is a different... Have you heard of this, right? So what may be attractive about one person, right? Let's say you happen to not... Maybe I'm not attractive to someone.
Yep.
But I say one thing and it's extremely inappropriate, where you could say something and you are attractive to them, and they find it to be the sexiest thing in the world.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So it's like that weird double standard
for
of
sure.
what's acceptable.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No, most definitely. Yeah.
There's something about these social dynamics that I find them very intriguing, right? Because it's like, okay, like, where are we going as a society, right? Because now, you know, you have kind of like the social blaming or pointing the finger of what's inappropriate.
Yep.
But can men also? I feel like at some point men should almost have approaches like that, where if someone does approach them in a outside of context, like it's not a professional setting.
Yep.
If men started applying the same methods women apply to men, I think we're gonna have like a reversal of the power play.
In what sort of sense?
Because think of this, right? In the workplace, right? There's jokes, right? And this is just thoughts.
Yep.
Right. Someone can have inappropriate conversations, or a guy can ask someone out, and it may be completely inappropriate, right? It's like, well, they take offense to what you say.
Yep.
But also on the same hand, certain things, right? Like a woman walking up to you and grabbing your ass, or touching your hair, or how is that not equally as inappropriate?
Should be,
right?
Should be.
So it's like, or what if she's the one making the moves, or being like, oh, when are we going out for drinks? When are we doing this? It's like, oh,
yeah.
Are you just looking for specific men on these platforms? Right?
Yeah.
So,
or in the workplace, right, or wherever. Yeah, no, very, very true. Very, very true. Yeah, it should be the same. It shouldn't really matter. It shouldn't matter who the parties are or what the what the circumstances are. It's just, it should be the same standard, but I'd be willing to bet it's not.
I'm just not a big fan of a lot of these social media shaming tactics.
No.
I think
no.
sure, I like there's it's a hard one, because how do you gauge that? What's appropriate to shame publicly? Like, okay, like if someone's like really fucking inappropriate, sending pictures or saying like really unnecessary shit.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe.
Right? Like,
maybe. I don't know. I can't ever really imagine.
But imagine your life destroyed because you read a situation wrong.
Yep.
Right? Maybe that girl you thought, and especially through text, because that's the hard part. It's very hard to gauge.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Actually, yeah.
If let's say if I have a couple of drinks in me.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm like, oh, and someone sends me a text like, oh, like when we're going out for a drink. I'm taking that shit most likely out of context. Yeah. Maybe that could be under the professional context of like, oh, let's go out and have a drink and talk business. Yeah. But maybe if my mind state is somewhere else, as I'm also intoxicated, it's like, damn, she's down the fuck.
Yeah. Right. That is what you. Yeah.
So where is that fine line of like, hey, like, shit, how do we handle this?
I think it's really, really, really difficult. Text is a nightmare. I think you can never interpret. There's such a high risk you can interpret that differently. Mm-hmm. That's tricky. I would always. Well, it depends. If it's like a text and it's like, you know, if there's no like professional context, or it's somebody that you met out, or then okay, I would interpret that as moving forward in that direction. But if it was not, if it was like somebody I worked with or something, I would just err on such a side of caution, because if you're wrong, you've got so much more to lose, right? Reputationally, everything that kind of comes with that. Whereas if it's just somebody that you've met and you're out and you get it wrong, okay, you get it wrong, but we should all be allowed to get things wrong, right? It doesn't mean that you've just misread a situation. It's not like there's some sort of weird power dynamic and, you know, you're hitting on somebody at work or something. You know what I mean? Like, I think, so the circumstances of who and what is important. confusing.
Very confusing. How do you have you heard anyone say, well, I wish men walked up to us and said hi?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
What have you heard regarding these topics?
Yeah, a couple of single friends of mine who are they're in my West London area. Two really fun girls, really top people. They must be 35, 36. And actually some of my wife's friends who are single, we were only talking about this the other week, who say the same thing. Like, where are the guys that want to talk to them, that actually want to have a conversation, actually kind of want to engage, have some flirtation, have some fun, and then build up to something. They were saying that most people they meet are online, and then you've got to filter out the odd people there because you don't have that first human interaction, right? So, yeah, what I hear them saying is like, where are the guys from when, I guess in a sense from when they were younger, right, in their 20s, who are, everybody's out, everybody's, you might talk to someone at the bar, you happen to be standing next to them or whatever. I think if so much of it's moved to virtual now, and I think it comes back to what you were saying about just confidence and like the ability to talk to people. A lot of things are like, everything's so much more transactional now than it was. You don't go to the store anymore, right? You get it from Amazon. You may or may not go and get groceries. Like, this, just people aren't out and about. You're not meeting people in the same way. So I think their frustration was like,
no one's coming up to me.
No one.
Like rarely does it happen.
Yeah, and if they do, they're the people that are really, really weird. Or, 60-year-old man hitting on them or something like that.
The ones who still have the courage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, my thought, right, as a man, I question to myself, how liable, how much am I putting myself on the fucking fire to potentially get, let's say, a social. I have a business, right? As a business owner, I cannot afford anyone publicly shaming me for speaking inappropriate.
Yeah.
If you're doing something in life, you cannot afford, even, I would assume, right? Yeah. Any form of public shaming. Yeah. Oh, look, you said this was inappropriate, or I don't like the way you said this. So there has to be, in some cases, right, like that social calibration where you're so good at reading the cues of like, all right, we're having a friendly conversation.
Yeah.
Obviously, she fucking likes me. She's giving me all these cues.
Yep.
And even still, you could be wrong.
Yeah. But you should be able to be wrong. But I think otherwise no one's ever going to do anything. Right? You might as well just be in a box, right? You should still be able to be wrong. I think, like you were saying, the whole public calibration part is kind of an interesting one, because I think you almost have, but you're also trying to get to know people too, right? That does involve asking questions and like having a conversation and not looking for everything to either be completely aligned or completely wrong, Otherwise, I think society loses massively. People can't talk to each other or like take a risk in talking to one another.
So, alright, my thought is that I believe that a lot of these differences that we're seeing in society is, I think a lot has to be contributed by the Me Too movement. And a lot of, think of like socially. What have we seen in the past, like, at least in the past 15 years? People coming out, I partied with so-and-so, and we were fucked up on drugs, but he raped me. Mm-hmm. How, in my opinion, right? Like, how is someone going to come out from a story from so long ago and have some sort of, like, okay, like, under what context? Were we both fucked up?
Right.
But if I happen to drug you, that's a whole different story.
Right, of course.
But if we are both fucked up on whatever it may be, you can't be bringing up like, oh yeah, like I didn't accept that, like back in the 70s.
Yeah, I formally didn't consent.
Yeah, like that is crazy. Like you have, it's almost I think it's, I'm not here advocating or fucking defending R. Kelly, right?
Right. Yeah.
But you hear some. Yeah, that's an extreme. But you hear like some of these stories, right, where he met him at a club, 18 or 20 plus. What the fuck are these like young girls doing at a club? Like, and who goes out dating and being like, hey, let me check your ID. Let me make sure you happen to be of age.
Yeah, right? those are very, very tricky, I think.
So I hear stories like that, and for me as a man, I'm like, dude, stay the fuck away. Because you don't know who you may be offending. I may say something in a flirty way, and all of a sudden, she doesn't take it that way, and now I cross the boundary.
But then you should both be able to just walk away. Right? Then, okay, then Andre's not for that person. Right? Maybe it's just a sense of humour thing, too, right?
Oh, yeah, man,
everybody has massively different senses of humour. And if people take things the wrong way, whatever the situation might be, then why can't we just, like, walk away? Right? Unless what you've said is... But even if you said something that's extremely offensive, why can't you just walk away from each other at that point and be like, cool, alright. Maybe that's a bullet dodged, right? Why take it as that attitude, and then, but there should never then be a campaign to do some sort of damage, or something like that. I mean, come on. I think there's some things you just got to put down to life experiences as well, right? When you're exploring and you get yourself in the wrong situation, and criminal things that happen, fine, right? I understand that, but like, you got to learn from your mistakes in life as well, right? You got to be able to like.
It's a tricky one. I see your point, but I do think, me personally, if I was to advise someone younger, I would probably stay away from being too direct. I think we as men at this age,
almost definitely true.
At a point in time, we have more to lose, and especially if you are up and coming and you are having a business and you're kind of, or if you already have established business.
Yep.
I'll give you an example, right? There's that baseball player, right? I think he's a pitcher, and this guy has been going through this like social media crusade of. The girl was exposed, so they've been going to court, but this chick was exposed for conversations with one of her friends. Well, tonight, something along the lines, right? Tonight I'm gonna like have some rough sex with so and so, and I gotta make sure he I forgot. It was something like it needs to be rough. Right? Comes out. That same morning, she posted a video on the dude's bed, smiling, da-da-da. But then that following evening, she posted she's taking him to court for fucking abuse, for hitting her.
Oh, wow.
Right? And within the context of the text was something like, oh, well, you better get in his $51 million bag.
Oh, damn. So
right?
This is a setup.
This is a complete setup, and she's being interviewed, right, by news and all that, and she's still like, this is taken out of context, he still abused me, he still did this.
Yeah.
So how are we looking at that, looking at all these stories, right?
Yep.
I personally look at my situation that I went through, and I've experienced someone just fucking lying straight to a court. Right?
Yeah.
Just for whatever benefit it would be.
Yep.
What happens there? If there were maybe repercussions of like, because this is the irony, right? When I was in court about this whole situation, even my attorney and the judge said that she was acting on her Second Amendment right of freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. So it can be social media shaming. It can be defaming someone's character. She's entitled to talk about whatever the fuck she wants.
But doesn't it have to be true?
No, at all. She's acting on her Second Amendment right. And when you think about that to me is extremely high risk. It's extremely high risk. You don't even there's no fine if you get caught for talking shit. So someone can literally every day go on TikTok. Let's say that person does have 2 million followers, and let's say, right, you're in a different life scenario, same business, but this person wants to fucking talk about you, how corrupt of a businessman you are, how fucked up as a man you are, how bad in sex you are.
Yeah.
And there's no repercussion
and
to
that
this.
they're able just to do that?
Just keep going about your life.
Oh
She got a slap in the wrist, kind of like, hey, you're allowed to do that, but please don't do that.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that say to people, right?
Yeah.
And now, for me, I question all that, and I'm like, it's extremely high risk to just like fucking put yourself in those predicaments of not knowing who you're talking to.
Oh yeah, no.
Right, because everyone does show you a really nice part of them, but until there's like that Spanish saying, right? Or I guess in English too, right? You really don't know someone until you're like divorcing.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Right, exactly. I mean, that's why those go so bad, right?
So at that moment, you could have had almost this awakened person, yoga retreat person, all of that. But all of a sudden, it's like, I want his money, I want the car, I want the house, I want half of the business. And it's like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Do you deserve all of this?
Yeah.
So, I think that sometimes it's easy to say, oh, yeah, like, man up and go talk to me. You should, like...
But there's so much risk involved.
But there's so much risk. To me, it's a lot of fucking risk. And especially when we live in a society that's constantly... in this case, right, let's not even make it about women in the court system, but just make it as people, like, with that example, the freedom of saying whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
It even got to this extreme, right? Because I wanted to take this person for defamation of character.
Right.
But it got to the point where attorneys asked, well, I gotta have proof that I lost business from it.
Right.
And I gotta bring testimonies of people that said, I'm not going to get work from him because I heard these rumors.
Yeah.
So what the fuck does that mean? Right? How much do I have to pay these people to actually come in and testify in my behalf?
Yeah.
Or what if they already have a almost like what's the word, man? Like
a conflict?
A conflict of interest,
right?
Because
so if I was an existing client?
Let's say, or what if, let's say your wife happened to follow this person, right? And she heard all these rumors.
Yeah.
But then all these rumors come back to you, and it's like, no, I don't think ethically you should get tattooed by him because he's a fucking douchebag.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? Now, where does that put you?
Yeah.
Right? Most likely, you're going to be like, you know what?
Just for peace.
Yeah, just like, all right, I think you're kind of right. It may be, it may not be true.
Yeah.
But rumors, right?
Affairs, yeah.
Rumors stick.
Yep.
So how many times can you hear rumors until you realize, in the irony of everything, right? Because to me, of course I took it super personal, but it was just like, don't you realize that our kids eat also from the money I make?
Yeah. Right. 100%.
So nowhere in this equation are you thinking, how is this long term affecting them? Yeah, sure, you're taking money out of my pocket, but I could fucking eat ramen noodles.
Right, exactly. We can survive. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
I can go back to that.
Yeah.
But who's essentially losing that opportunity on better clothes or better schooling, better things?
Yep.
It's the kids at the end. So like, how stupid and short-sighted can these motives of revenge can be?
Yeah, they are. They nearly always are. And it's so petty.
It's petty, but oh goodness.
I know. I actually now you said that about, like, if you were to advise a younger person today, because people normally of a same generation kind of have the same level of, like, acceptability, broad brushstrokes, right? Or the same sense of humor, or they know when someone's joking, or like. But today, yeah, if this is like a 20-year-old or an 18-year-old going to college or something, oh my god, yeah. 100%.
How many of those girls are gonna be offended? Oh my god, you came up to me and you said this.
Right.
I would play it super safe. It's almost like I need that check from whatever application saying that you accepted me as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And this stuff's gonna live on forever. Well, that's the other part of it all.
Man, this is a whole separate ordeal. But for whatever reason, man, I heard of a client that was telling me how, dude, this like 15-year-old kid who was, I guess he was searching for porn, and next thing you know, he's searching for like 15-year-old porn, around his age, right?
Yeah.
Somehow this was a fucking sting operation, and they put him on a fucking pedophile list as a 15-year-old.
He just doesn't understand.
That makes no fucking sense.
No.
And the kid's like, well, I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't this be more weird if he's watching adults have sex?
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense to me at that age, be like, I want to see someone my age.
Yeah, 15-year-olds are attracted to 15-year-olds in the same way that 10-year-olds have crushes on 10-year-olds, right? It's kind of how it works. That's the problem with some of these tools as well. When they have access to everything.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking
with like
wild.
a young. Yeah, I mean, surely there has to be some understanding in that. You know. I know. All that stuff just makes you want to just go and find a cabin somewhere and just live. Live out in the sticks.
Disappear from the craziness of the city.
There is a lot of craziness, and obviously the older you get, all the everything just seems even crazier, right?
Right now, everything seems pretty wild to me. I don't know. I feel so out of tune with so many things. I try to understand. Yeah. But I definitely feel out of tune with a lot of the youth today.
Yeah. I wouldn't have a clue. Because they are growing up with like devices. Like there's always been social change, right? But like they are growing up with devices that fundamentally change how they interact socially, where they get information from, where their brains go. Like I think they can be like a little different species. Maybe this feels like this for every generation. I don't know, but like I would see more in common with like our parents' generation than I would between like us and like the kids today.
100%. All right, so kind of touching on the so the single people they're saying they're just kind of surprised that no one's like really talking to them, or that part of society is missing.
Yeah. Right? So even when they go out, they're like things are different. A consequence of that could be because they're older too, right? Things change.
The question is how much of that is a component, right? Because
right, exactly.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I do think that there is the aspect that I would probably be more. I would be more attracted to a younger woman.
Yeah. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that there is something about it that I don't know, man. There's something about, like, I guess if you want to call it, right, mature women, that spontaneity that we were talking about earlier is gone. Yeah. And the expectations are higher.
And they're definitely different. Now these two, I imagine, would stick out like a sore thumb. Like, and then you could look at them definitely and say these are maybe two people that don't have their shit together, as well, right? And
because they're single at that age.
Because they're
You would say about a man or about a woman?
I wouldn't say that about either of them, but I think a lot of people would, or some people would. I have friends of mine who have made really intentional life choices to be single, or to not have kids, or both as a consequence.
From the both sexes?
Yeah, guys and women, and you think, cool, at least everybody should live their life however they want, right? And if that's not something they want to do, we were saying like how all encompassing it is to be a parent, right? How it changes your entire life. They don't want to do that. There should be no pressure on them to do it, right?
What do you think of the people that now start getting to their late 30s and now they want to establish a family?
Yeah, I think if they're biologically able, then why not? I mean, some people are. It's gonna be tougher, right? But
why do you think it's gonna be tougher? What are some of your perspectives?
I think it's tougher because I'm 40 now, right? I don't have as much energy, even certainly not when I was like in my 20s. So you're older, but at the same time, you're wiser, you're more financially secure. You can provide a different type of environment. I think there's really, really pros and cons. Like when you're in your 20s, you're a younger parent, right? There's going to be pros to that, I'm sure, right? In terms of maybe you've got less work accountability, maybe you can run further or longer, and you're going to be around. You're going to be in their life longer, right? Potentially. So yeah, we had our kids when we were older. I think I was 35 when my boy was born, and 38 when my little girl was born. So I think is anything around like 40 and below. It's kind of pretty kind of getting towards norm now. But you do see some odd ones, right? Where people are having like fathering children at like 70. That seems a little bit selfish to me because you're realistically you're not gonna be around, right? By the time they're 12, right, or whatever. But I don't know. I guess it's on the kid, on the individuals, but
on the parent.
Yeah. What do you think? Because you would have had yours younger.
I had my youngest at 27.
Yeah.
27, 28.
That young. Well, it's kind of a nice time, I think.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Because it still gives me the opportunity to have the energy to want to play with them, to run around, play some football, like do the things that this is a weird one, right? But like someone asked me in the past, would you allow your son to do graffiti, blah blah blah, like do the things you did as a kid? I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I probably want to go do graffiti with him.
Yeah, that's right. But in my mind, I still think I'm 25.
Yeah, athletically, I want to make sure like I could still keep up and all right, cool, let's go fucking run.
Yeah.
Let's do these things.
Yeah.
So like thinking of having kids later on in life, yeah, it sounded in a way, yeah, it sounds appealing. But I don't know if I see myself going through the hardships of teenagers at 45.
Yeah.
Right? At least if I'm 40 by the time no, I'm not going to be 40 by the time they're 15. But 37.
Yeah.
So, I'll probably be like 42, 43.
Yep.
And I know it's not going to be easy. But imagine dealing with this
I don't
stuff
think
like
it's ever
in
easy,
the 60s.
Yeah. I think you've got maybe you've got more emotional maturity by then. I don't know. I really don't know. Like
I don't think you would be ready. I don't think, because no matter, all right, let's say you are emotionally mature, but having a kid is a lottery.
Yeah.
In the sense of like their temperament.
Fuck yeah.
So a kid can be fucking crazy, or a kid can be super nice.
Yep.
And you may see your first one was chill, but your second was wild as fuck.
Yeah.
So how are you gonna handle that when you're 60?
Yeah.
When that kid is, you're 65, you got that teenager fucking like skipping school, or like, oh dad, imagine, I slept at my boyfriend's house.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, how do you maneuver that? How do you go about all these things that I don't think...
But why do you think the age makes a difference?
Oh man, I think for me, I would want to be younger to deal with that, to have the more patience. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
The older I get, the less shit I want to be doing.
Yeah. Well, that's
in a weird way,
that
right?
I think is a really important. Yeah,
right.
That's a really
I don't want to
point.
be fucking running around chasing kids like around the block.
Yeah.
Stay in the street. Do this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know,
For
like.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I remember being in when I was in school in New York, and man, I remember this kid. We're like 12, 13 years old. Then he said his parents were 65. I'm like, 65?
Yeah.
This shit, like, the addition didn't make sense.
Yeah, right.
The math, I'm like, 60?
Yeah.
So they had you at, like, in their 50s?
Yeah.
This is crazy. And, you know, like, my grandparents' age.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be.
Right? So, I don't know. I prefer to... And I'm like so active with the kids, man, that I'm just like, I prefer to be this active than being on chill mode, because my whole life has been on, or not on chill mode, but dude, at 60, I want to, if I'm into boats, I want to be on my boat just fucking.
Yeah, at that point, at 60, right? I'm with you. I want to be on my boat.
I want to have a
walking through my little vineyard.
Yeah, I want to have a grown-up that I can have a conversation with and be like, hey, let's sit down, let's drink a whiskey and...
Yeah, and you know... Well,
let's talk about life while I'm still young.
Yeah, and you've set... Hopefully you can see them set up, and maybe you see them get married or whatever it is that, like... Yeah,
imagine now, you know, I haven't thought about this, but you start thinking of, like, grandkids and things like that.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Imagine, okay, cool, like, you hear these stories, grandma almost made it, but she passed like
she
months
didn't quite
before.
Make the wedding.
Yeah. This didn't happen, and it's like, fuck, all right, cool, like bad timing, bad luck, bad, you know, life.
Yeah.
But I look at my grandmother. She's met up to her great granddaughter.
Yeah.
No, great granddaughter. That would be 4 generations away. 3.
3. Yeah.
3. Yeah.
Yeah,
so how cool is that?
That's what we did in England over the summer. My grandma, she had in her front room, her great-grandchildren, her grandchildren, and her 2 daughters. That's amazing.
Crazy.
Because they all had kids at like 20, 21, 22. That was completely normal. No, I definitely think you want to be active. Some of that's a mindset thing and choices you make, but other parts of it is just natural aging, right? So I take my little guy to his soccer academy.
Where's he going?
Every Saturday. It's in the Natick High School. Mm-hmm. They have like a Natick soccer academy there. Cool. It's really good actually. But we get there early. We run around. I'm dribbling the ball with him. He's trying to tackle me. And we're always doing that. Then the other morning before I took him to school, him and I were just playing soccer out the back, just kicking the ball around together until we had to leave. So we're always active together. We're always like picking up and down. We chuck him around. Physical, right? Because he's got to learn his own like physical ways of life. I don't know if in 10 years I'm going to have like the energy to do that. Hopefully.
Well. It
probably not.
True, no, but think of this. I think you probably would, but you have to still be actively.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like it's a mindset thing as well.
If you're just sitting at home and eating chips and just kind of like, all right, let's watch the game and fuck life away. Yeah. Don't expect any different.
Right. Exactly.
Your knees are gonna be all fucked up. Your body, your back.
Yeah.
But also, you gotta think like the kind of memories you're building with the boy, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's gonna be those life lessons too. Yeah. That he's always gonna carry.
Yep. No, most definitely. I definitely wouldn't have had them any later than we had. That's for sure. That's for sure.
I got a friend who had a kid at 44.
Wow.
She was really pushing the fucking boundaries right there.
Yep.
Because it's a scary thought, right? Not knowing like is the kid gonna be with any issues?
Yeah, and is the mom as well, right?
No, but she lived the rock star life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Certainly. She was like, I rocked it and she's into music and all that, and she's like, I don't want to have any kids until I lived it up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah. That's the other part though, is like, I speak to some of the other dads who they're not like, they're not involved in like running around with their kids or playing soccer with their kids. Like, they're much more passive. They're much more like, just let them play.
Like, whatever the kids want to do, just
like,
take them to the field and
which is
go
like
run around.
Weird to me. It's like, isn't that part of the fun? You know, the memories and like little things like that. You know, everybody's going to be different, I guess, but the interaction is so important. I think it just becomes so much more of a game. For Carson, like, I take the ball off him and run it on, and he's trying to tackle me, but he's laughing so much when he's doing it. He's absolutely cracking up. Whilst he's like taking kicks at my shins, right, or whatever he's trying to do. Like,
that is funny.
It is. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's just laughing so much, and all you're doing is kicking a ball of air around the soccer pitch, right? That's it. But it's so much enjoyment. You got to do those things together. Like when we went back to England, we were down in this little coastal town where my grandmother lives, and I said to him, like, God, there's this few things we can do, and there's this and that, we can go and see this and that. And he went, I just wanna, because I want you to chase me around the beach, and then we do that thing where we hold hands and jump over the waves. That's it. And like the two simplest things, right, you could ever wish him to do, and that's kind of what he wanted to do.
All right, man. So, did you have a father figure in your life?
Yeah, not fully. So my parents had us young, and then my dad was not really very present. Like, I remember it mainly being me, my mum, and my sister, and then they got divorced when we were older again, and now he's not in my life at all. He's still alive, but check this out. Never met his grandchildren, right? On my side, he's met my sister's two girls, and I did reach out to him before we went back to England a couple months before, and I was like, "Hey, I think he's a dick myself." But I was like, you know what? But not a dangerous one, just so self-absorbed. And I reached out to him and I was like, "Hey, you know what? We're coming over to England. This is where we're gonna be. We're gonna be there for about 10 days. This place is, we were gonna be there for about a week. This place is maybe an hour from him." And he's like, "Oh, great to hear. Are you stopping by?" I was like, "No." He said, "We're going straight down. It's like a 5-hour drive from London. So we're going straight down, but this is where we're going to be from Friday night through to the following Friday morning. Weekend, whatever." "Oh, okay, we'll have to see." And then he messaged me the next day and he's like, "Sorry, calendar's full. Not a chance, can't make it work." I was like, "Alright, no worries." And then I didn't speak to him again. So this is a guy that wouldn't drive an hour. You can't tell me there's not a 3-hour window in your week where I didn't know the last time I saw him. 7 or 8 years ago, right? You're not even gonna meet your grandson. You're not even gonna say hello and say, you know. So you can give people that choice. So yeah, I'd say in short, no.
Is there any memories that you have that it's like? Is there any memories, right, where you have either with him or someone else as a father figure, or a male figure, right, that almost imprinted like shit, like I want to be like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. When I was young.
Like, and now I think about like my grandfather, right? Like how much did that really impact me?
Yeah.
With, you know, like building the little go-kart out of like sticks and plywood and just like super like shitty things, but the fact that I remember, hey, you gotta hammer this and the biggest fucking nails and the heaviest hammer, and it's like shit, you know, hammering my finger for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that'll put a memory in there.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, like I remember all these things I built with him, right?
Yeah.
So I think of those memories, and how would I not want to give my kids the same type of memories? And
Right.
Like, hey, you know what? when I was a kid, Dad used to do all this stuff with us.
Yeah.
Right. So I think thinking just generation to generation, it's key, man. Hopefully they become an upgrade as we are an upgrade.
Right. That's the goal.
Of our parents.
Yeah, that should always be the goal. Yeah.
Right. So
have a better life than you had and be better people or whatever it might be. An upgrade is a nice way to think about it. Yeah, I remember exactly that. I had like when I was young, I remember my dad when he was there, he would take me out. We'd like just kick the football around or whatever, and that was fun. I really liked that time. But I don't have many memories of that. I have other memories which were, not as much fun. And now I look back on them, I'm like, damn, what a dick he was. He was such a dick. But then he was young too. Like they had us when they were 22. You don't even really know yourself at that point, right? Ironically, he's still a dick now, but.
Some people don't grow, man.
Yeah.
Some people don't grow. The irony is this, right? That, or maybe not the irony, but maybe the positive way that I try to look at things is from the lens of, by nature, I do think we try to do better than what was given to us.
Yeah.
So if that's what he's giving, only imagine what was given to him. Absolutely. Right? So it's kind of like if he got shit, he doesn't know any better to give any more than that, because that's all he got, right? And if you think, my father's kind of the same way, very much like, if you come here, you call me, and we can meet outside the house.
You need to drive to my house.
And sure. He's still like that, right? Yeah. So it's like, even no matter what, if I attempt to like reach out and all that, it's not gonna change him.
Yeah.
He is who he is, right? And he's got that mindset of like, you're the son, you come do everything.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think the other good thing about it is that you can intentionally be different with your own family. You know 100%. What I mean? You can be like, what's important actually, and you can build good memories and be really focused on that instead. That's much more important. Now the life you can give them, like the cool stuff you do with your boys, like the graffiti work, and then.
Did I ever show you that video?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's absolutely phenomenal. Like, what a great way to like get them learning in a kind of more of a controlled setting, but it's still absolute freedom that 99% of kids would never get to like explore and experiment with them. That's cool. Really, really cool. And there's a touch in you that's gonna be like, you remember doing that when you were a kid, right? It's nice, man.
It's things that I got into when I was older.
Yeah.
And I went through my rebellious phase through that.
Yeah.
But there's the need of teaching exploration, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like fueling their creativity and getting them like thinking in different ways, flexing different brain muscles, getting that confidence. And like the other thing, like you're trusting them to like stick to Main Street but go down the road a little bit. Like that's all really, I think, is a really healthy way to parent.
Are you familiar with Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
All right, so he has the saying, controlled danger, or something along those lines.
Okay.
Right? You got to allow your kids to explore life, get hurt in a safe kind of way, as safe as possible. Yep. Right? Yep. But you still got to give them some freedom for them to explore and understand, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you were young, playing with matches for the first time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You got burnt, but obviously you didn't burn the house down.
Yep.
So
exactly. Yeah.
Little things like that, where it's like, look, there's consequences. This is what you do, and this is how you do it. And why not teach it the correct way? Yeah. Right, from a young age. So.
Yeah. I remember our first pediatrician when our little guy was. Taking his time to walk, right? By 15 months they want them to like be able to walk 3 steps or whatever, and he wasn't. And he was like, I really liked him. He's really old school.
We're talking the pediatrician?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He was in his 60s probably, seen that, done it all, right? And he's like, look, he goes, when he's like walking around, are you like right behind him, like shit, don't fall or whatever? He's like, because you gotta let him fall, right? Don't let him fall down a flight of stairs, obviously, but like, he's in the same way that you were just saying about controlled danger. It's like, let them feel it out, right? And then that's how they get their balance. That's how they get up again. You know, by all means, cover the corners of the fireplace if you must, right? But let them fall over, right? It's completely fine. That's how they learn. So, yeah, I think that whole controlled danger piece is really, really important. Better to learn your boundaries in that way than in something really, really dangerous, right? Better a box of matches than something much more severe.
What was the other one? I was gonna say something spaced out. But yeah, no. Everything comes down to. Oh, I was gonna share this. One of my friends, man. Definitely a hover parent.
Yeah.
We're out camping, and of course, there's rocks, roots, all kinds of things. We're out in nature, man.
Yep.
I took both of my boys, probably the most ridiculous, crazy shit I could have done at that age.
Yeah.
But my youngest was 18 months old. The other one was 3.
Yeah.
Took him kayaking.
Yeah.
3 miles deep.
Wow.
To get to this little island.
Yeah.
And then we had to hike up like another 3 to 5 miles.
Damn.
We had all the gear, the backpacks. I don't know why I was stupid enough to bring like my camera gear. Thinking it was gonna be like a family photographer.
Yeah.
Definitely nothing happened.
Yeah.
But kayak almost flipped with the kids.
Damn.
The water was choppy. Definitely one of those days where I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I'm doing.
Yeah.
Why? And I'm looking at the edge, how far it was, and thinking, the whole time, what would I have to let go? Obviously, I'm going to lose my backpack, all my gear, and I'm just grabbing the 2 kids by their life vests, and we're swimming towards the edge. Cool. We fucking made it. Everyone made it safe.
Yeah,
we almost tipped a few times, but we made it. Point being, right? We get up there, and he's looking at his son. His son trips. Oh, baby, you okay? You okay? Runs over. And I'm just like, I'm just looking, observing how he like handles his situation. Later that day, he comes up to me. He's like, Andre, dude, I haven't even seen you run to the kids if they get hurt. I'm like, did they get like really badly hurt? Right. No, they're fine. They fell off a small tree.
Yep.
They're fine. And they're kind of rugged, right? They're kind of like, they scuff their knees and keep walking.
Yeah, you're right.
And, as we're hiking up, I'm with his son, and he's at a distance, and I'm like, hey, Isaac, start walking. Come on, let's go. Isaac walks. He trips over something, fell. The second he fell, he looks up, and I'm like, you good?
Yeah.
And he just looks around like, what's the deal? And I'm like, dude, you're good. Let's go.
Yeah.
Since no one ran up to him and said, oh,
that's
baby, you're
exactly
good.
It's your
he just kept going. And then later on, he goes, I saw what you did with him. And I'm like, you think I baby him too much? And I'm like, a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you saw, right? And
yeah,
he's like, fuck. Like I couldn't, he was surprised that his son didn't start screaming.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, if you doing it, and you're both mom and dad are reacting to oh my god, he fell, like, you okay? Let me clean your legs.
Yeah. Nope, couldn't agree with you more. I remember Carson went through this phase where after school he'd want to take a run, weirdly, and he'd want to do this little 20-minute loop, 15-minute loop. So when winter was coming in, there was 2 days. One day it was raining. Oh, you know what it was actually? The day before that it was raining and we were kicking a ball around and he stood on the ball, wet ball, fell over and he landed on his knees and he was crying because he cut off his knees. And then I picked it up. I was like, touched him down. I was like, it's not even a scratch, Chris. Just get on with it, right? And he's like, yeah. And then the next day he wanted to go for a run and it was raining. I was like, you're going to get wet. And I said, but if you want to get wet, I'll go with you and we'll go and do the run. He's like, yeah, I want to do it. So we go out running. And as we're going down the road, he slips again, and he fell over, and he just got up. He looked at his knees, and went, "Not even a scratch," because it was the exact phrase that we used the day before. And then he ran on, and he'll have a little moment every now and again, but you gotta be like that. So the other week, when we were for them to be able to like enjoy stuff, because the other week we're at his soccer training, and as I said, I'm running around with him, and we went to one of the big. They have these like the kids' kind of skills goals there, these little ones which they use, but they also have a big goal at either end of the pitch. So we're heading over that way, kicking it in and whatever, right? And as he's come to get the ball out the back of the net, he kind of got his foot trapped in the net, and as he fell over, he's landed on something. It basically landed because if you get your feet trapped, you fall really quickly, and he landed straight on his face, and his teeth cut up his lips a little bit, and they were swollen. Cause it was like he was crying about that, and I was like, "Cousin, you got to get on with it. You got to get out there now and play soccer because your game starts out right now." And he just got on with it. And I was really proud of him, and he played really well for the whole game with a fat lip, poor little guy, and he did great. Otherwise, I mean, I don't think there would have been a scenario where he wouldn't have played, but just for him to be able to get on with it again, and okay, I fell over, I'm fine. He's always cut that little bit of his lip, just because that's where his teeth are. And, but they've got to be resilient. They've got to be able to pick themselves up, right, and kind of keep going. But if you react differently and baby him, he's going to do the same. Though.
I'm sure you've seen quite a few parents that run across the field. You okay? Like it's like, dude, you just interrupted the whole game. Right. Your one kid.
Yeah, exactly. That happened on the weekend.
And it's like my kids are both into football as well, and I see it all the time. Kid gets hit in the stomach, kid's laying down crying, mom runs over. I'm like,
get up,
cool. Just let him get up.
There's exactly that
happening. But I don't get it. I don't see like. Maybe I'm not as what's the word? No, I just don't care, man. It's like, dude, you're good.
Gotta get up.
You got hit with the ball in your stomach.
You're fine. Sure, if you clash heads, of course, man. Of course. We're going to look at that, make sure, alright. That's the difference, right? It's like controlled danger. And there was a kid, none of this matters because it's 5-year-olds playing soccer, right? But there was a kid there who he did hurt himself. Well, he didn't hurt himself, he fell over, I think, because it was kind of wet. Which I think is part of the fun of the game, right? So he falls over, and his mum came onto the pitch, and then he's got up and he's carried on. So he fell over. It's not like he was kicked over. And then, but what happened later on in the game? This was during their like individual. They have this game called Steal the Bacon or something like that from each other. So it's always chaotic because you've got 5-year-olds and there's like 10 balls on the pitch. Right? It's always wild, but it's fun. But when they split them into two teams and put bibs on one, and there was like you're playing against the other, that little boy, I don't even see what happened, but he's gone crying off, and he came off the pitch and to go to his mom, which meant my guy's team were down a player, and then they lost their little mini match that they were playing, partly because this little kid, as far as I can see, there was nothing wrong with him. He came back on a few minutes later, but his reaction was, I've hurt myself somehow. I'm going to come off the pitch. I'm going to go to mum. She's going to tell me it's fine. She'll probably give me a snack or whatever. And then he came on a few minutes later. But he was off for like 3 or 4 minutes. And again, like, it's only a 40-minute session. It's once a week. Like, he's not playing. You can't... I don't think if they're going to play a sport and they're going to get, like, enjoyment out of the competitive nature of it, right? And have fun or enjoy winning with a team or whatever, right? You can't just come off at like, and I don't blaming obviously the tiny little 5-year-old about it, but like it's about parenting style, right? Because I guarantee that kid trips over a tree root. His mum's picking him up. She's I just don't think it's good for them.
Well, I had a similar-ish situation with my son, with the youngest. He's a firecracker, man. And he ended up throwing this. I don't know what happened, if he was upset or what, but he just kind of stormed off and like walked away. a conversation with him that night, and I said to him, I'm like, you got to think to yourself that you, right now, no one really cares that you walk away, right? It's all fun and games.
Yeah.
But let's say in life,
Yeah.
once you are playing, let's say, in a better team, you guys are a little older, you cannot pull these tantrums.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you do that, if I was playing with you, I would not want to ever play with you in my team.
Right.
Because you are unreliable.
Yep.
Maybe that's too harsh, but I do think is reality, right? If you're throwing a tantrum because you don't like the outcome, you can't just walk away and be like, I'm going to like, yeah, let me storm off and vent off.
Yeah.
You're losing the game because you walked away.
Right, exactly.
Right? So it's like giving that reality check like this doesn't, you can't be applying this to everything. Then otherwise no one's going to want to play with you.
Right, of course not. I think it's good that they learned that lesson. Like, it's good. You're also, you're just telling him the reality of it, right? It's not like there's some sort of like, if you say to him, okay, you know, you stormed off, I'm going to tell you that, and now I'm not going to take you next week, right, or something like that, right? I think it's really good guidance. And if you bring up kids, there's also, the other good thing about that is, if you bring up kids, I think that can, and then into adults that can take feedback and take it well, then they're going to keep on learning. They're probably going to stand out as well, because I don't think many people can take feedback nowadays.
That's part of the goal, is to teach to get criticism, right?
Yeah.
How old is your son now? Is he 5?
5.
5.
Yeah.
So like I go through you know, after every game, as we're riding on the way home, I'm like, hey, you know, I kind of break him up. I'm like, so and so. What do you think? What'd you like about how did you play? Yeah. I think I played really good. Blah, blah, blah. It's always better, right? And I'm like,
yeah,
I want to give you a critique.
Yeah.
And last week, my oldest gets, you know, he's like, Dad, like, why we always get a critique?
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, don't take a critique as a negative thing. I'm giving you feedback on things that because you're in the field, you're not seeing what's happening.
Yeah, right.
So
exactly,
take it as an outside eyes giving you, hey, this is what I'm noticing. You guys could be doing better.
Yeah.
I'll give you good critique, and I'll give you a constructive critique as well.
Yep.
So I'm like, do you prefer me not to ever tell you like my observations? He's like, no, I would actually like them. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Because you're getting better every time I told you to, like, check this, do that, do this. So changing their attitude towards criticism and just getting, seeing it as something constructive.
Yep.
So I'm like, look, let's take a look at Adrian's game, and then you could pay attention and see. And then I could use Adrian's game, and I'm like, you see how all the kids are running that way?
Yeah.
Dude, all these areas open.
Yeah.
You can be there, and that's exactly how in your team they're doing everything.
Yeah.
Everyone's following the ball, going this, going that. No one's open enough. No one's passing enough. Obviously, that's a little bit more advanced, but you want to start understanding the game and see where do you want to be in place so the ball can be effective when it's passed to you.
Yeah.
If everyone's chasing it and you got 10 kids in like one huddle in the center.
Yeah, 1 square meter.
Yeah.
Or 5 square meters.
Good fucking luck getting out of that situation.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool.
No, they've been like, and they're obsessed right now.
That's really cool. Well, they're learning so much too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the importance of team sports, right?
It's so important. So important. Carson's he's been I've been impressed actually. He when they do this little thing where like fine for them to have a ball each, and you've got to keep dribbling and people can't tag you, and if they tag you, you're frozen until someone untags you, sort of thing. This is partly of his nature as well. He likes to kind of observe things first, but he will let the first 4 kids run on, and they all go off in the same direction, and then his goal, he will go running off into space, and he'll go off at an angle, and then he'll cut back in when all the other kids are over there, and runs it in and scores his little goal. So that's been really funny to see, because I think it's in part just his personality to like stand back a little bit, and then he's like, cool, there's all the space, bye-bye.
Is he noticing that?
Yeah, I'm not telling him, but I'm watching him, watching them, and then I watch him go off in the other direction.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. But the other thing was, I think one of my favourite dad moments was a couple weeks ago. He wasn't. I could see he wasn't listening to his soccer kicks, right? And he's kind of going through that little bit of a phase. And plus it's like 45 minutes, right? So it's a long time, but. There was a point where he wasn't listening, and the coach was showing them how to, like, when you're running, you can like stop the ball or hit it with your back heel and turn people really quickly, so getting them changing direction. Because he wasn't listening, he didn't pick up the skill.
Are you guys doing indoor soccer?
Outdoor.
Yeah.
All outdoor. Yeah, all outdoor right now. Because he wasn't listening, he was kind of wandering around like a little bit, and I was like, oh, did you really miss something there? So I spent like the week, we were just going through that, right? And he was just trying to tackle me and really enjoying it. And he didn't want to tackle people either at that point. He was a bit like nervous about it, I think. And I got him just like tackling me and realizing it's fun and it's fine. And we were doing
like playing rough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This time with a football, and we were doing that, and we were doing it upstairs in the landing and doing it outside with us, inside with a softball and outside, and he got really into it. And he learned how to quickly turn with the ball, which was really cool. So I didn't think anything of it. And then we went to go down there the week before last, and it was like getting his stuff together. And he went, Daddy, he goes, today, he goes, I'm going to tackle everyone. And he went, even if it's a small kid. I was like, all right, guys, glad you got the fire in your belly for this one. See where it goes. And he got out there, and he was so into it. He was running, he was tackling everybody, but the best part was, I don't know how much of this was like accidental or not, he is running with the ball, and he's got like 5 of them chasing him, trying to take his little ankles out, and he's done a really amazing turn, and he's like knocked it with his back heel and then ran back down and scored, because all the other kids are still like running in the opposite direction. And it was just one of the best things to watch, man, because we'd spent like the week doing it. And I was like, I don't know if that's accidental or not, but it looked fucking sick. And all of the other parents were like, shit, he's like a little mini Messi down there. Cause, but it was just like, there was the one thing that we kept doing, like, every day.
So what was it? You said
just running with the ball. So as he's running, just like stopping the ball and rolling it. And then
rolling it back.
Yeah. So complete 180. So he's running this way with the ball at his feet, knocking it back. So as he's knocked it back, the other kids have kept going, and then he's run it back down and scored. It was fucking sick.
Oh, no way.
It was really, really good. And it blew my mind. It was so good. And he scored too. Like, he didn't just like spunk it wide, he ran it down to the goal and dribbled it in. And yeah, it was really, really good. It was like a whole different kid out there. But now he thinks he's the best soccer player ever. So we gotta like do that. But yeah, it was really, really cool. It was really, really cool to see. It was really satisfying to see him like do something, enjoy it, and then be able to like replicate
execute it.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really, really cool. Then last week's game was not so good. It was alright, but it didn't have the same like highlight that had. But that's cool. It's gonna be the case.
Once they get those little highlights and
yeah, that's what you're looking for.
It motivates them for the next round.
Yeah, you just want them to enjoy it, and get out there and enjoy it, and feel what it's like you said, to do a team sport. And no, that's cool. That was really cool. And my daughter want to play too. She wants to play, so we will go. We take an extra ball for her, and she's so cute. So, Daddy, I want to kick the soccer ball. And she's 2, so she can just about put these words together. She gets really into it.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun.
Because they already got leagues for those little kids too.
Yeah,
right? So.
yeah. God knows how you coach them. Coaches are good though. I'm really impressed by the coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like very patient. They know what they're doing, but they're not too soft on them. Like they're really get them playing a little match and get them involved and do what they should be doing as coaches, man. And yeah, it's good.
Quick little stretch.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Every little dream cousin, there's always daddy and cousin. Every single